Welcome to Better Together, a podcast where we break down and dive in headfirst through tough topics conversation, a space for real conversations and honest dialogue. No topic is off limits, and no perspective is ignored. If you're ready to challenge the norms, and you're in the right place.
I'm your host, Mr. Grind.
And I'm Kiko. All right, let's dive in.
So I'm gonna play a video.
We could chop it too, yeah.
That seems to be like a big topic right now in relationships or in things in general, I guess. So we'll just play that.
Do y'all think healthy relationships get boring? Like you're in a good relationship with a guy and you're enjoying your time, or a girl, it doesn't matter. Like you enjoy who you're with, you're enjoying your time, and then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but the fact that the routine is so good, does it get like boring? Like, damn, we need some type of discourse.
Okay, so that's a video on
Has been
TikTok.
going around.
Yeah, it got like thousands of views. So what's your opinion on that? Do you think healthy relationships get boring? Is pretty much
the topic of
conversation.
Yeah. So let's look up what is a healthy relationship, right? Let's start off that. And then to answer the question, I think the statement is wild to say that a healthy relationship is boring, not really knowing, and how you're phrasing it, like, if the relationship is boring to you because it's healthy, do you mean that you're bored of monotony that comes with it, a routine that you have established? And if you're feeling boredom because of this routine that's been established through the relationship, it almost seems the way that she's saying it, like she's expecting her partner to go ahead and spice.
She's putting it on her partner to not make it boring,
to spice things up, to change it. But why would you expect that from your partner if you're the one that's feeling bored from the healthiness of the relationship?
Yeah. So a healthy relationship is one where partners respect each other, are honest, and communicate openly. It's a relationship where both people work together to make it successful.
Right. That part. Where both people work together to make it successful. But the manner in which she's saying it just really makes it seem like, well, I'm feeling this way about our relationship. I would love to ask her, what are you doing to resolve that? What are you doing when you feel bored? Are you bringing that up to your partner? Are you discussing that with them? Are you working actively to change that? Like, are you proposing, hey, we could go on a date night together? Are you proposing, hey, maybe instead of cooking this for dinner tonight, we could cook something different? Or if neither one of us enjoys cooking, or neither one of us is good at cooking, maybe we could go take a cooking class together and we could learn new things.
Like switch it up a little bit.
Like expand on your hobbies.
Yeah, the communication is what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So you just communicate how to change things up and do something new and something different. I get where she's saying like if there's an aspect of routine that stays the same, but it's also like you said, that whole communication thing comes into play in the conversation where, and also like you said, where it's not entirely on one or the other person to change that up in a relationship.
Yeah.
But if you're in a healthy relationship, you should have that comfort level to be able to like have that conversation and be like, hey, like we could try something new. Let's do this or do that, or even be able to express how you feel.
Yeah, just bring it up at least.
Right, what you're thinking without there being any turbulence
or backlash, like
defensiveness or anything like that.
Right, pushback.
Yeah, in that case too, I think it's on the person themselves. The fact that they feel like they can correlate a healthy relationship with being boring.
I feel like even in that, like, if you're afraid of your partner giving you pushback, are you in a healthy relationship?
Well, it's not. My point is more like, if you are in a healthy relationship, then how is it boring
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what about it is boring to you?
Like, or if like, are you in a healthy relationship because they tack off all the boxes
Mm-hmm.
and what makes a healthy relationship? Or are you in a health, like, if I'm in a healthy relationship, I
Mm-hmm.
could say, well, I can talk to them about anything and
Yeah.
they'll understand. Or even if there's some pushback, there's a middle ground that we can meet at where they're understanding of how I feel at the end of it, and I understand how they feel at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a healthy relationship and you get bored, then I feel that's just a person settling with
Yeah.
someone
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
who checks off those things that
Like,
make the relationship healthy
you've met this
versus,
much that I need, so I'm just gonna settle for that.
right, you don't argue, like, you don't fight back,
Mm-hmm.
that's healthy, or that's what they would consider healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't put up a fight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no, like, you do everything I want you to, like, those things don't make it a healthy relationship. It's just you tacking off things
Mm-hmm.
that the person's contributing to make it a healthy relationship. But if you're in a healthy relationship, then you should be able to say, like, I'm with someone I'm compatible with.
Yeah.
That, like, you don't get bored because they like doing the same things I like doing,
Mm-hmm.
or they like trying new things like I like trying new things. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
of course.
Like, they if you're in a healthy relationship, you wouldn't say I'm getting bored if they're meeting
What you
those
said is a standard.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you're just compatible, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
like if you're with someone who finds, going on a walk fun, but you don't, then that's not, obviously that's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're with someone who likes hiking and you don't, then that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Or my idea of fun is like going to a wine tasting, for example, and their idea of fun is like going
Going to
to
the
the
club.
club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those are completely different. Then that's where I get where someone would be like, okay, well, it's not working and I'm kind of bored of it.
Yeah, but that all comes back down to like either lack of communication or severe lack of
Or
communication.
that too, of settling with someone who, again, just tacks off the boxes on
Mm-hmm.
what makes or contributes to a healthy
Healthy relationship.
relationship
Yeah.
versus someone who is compatible
Mm.
with you and your personality and your likes and wants and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Like, that's where I feel that people misinterpret. And I feel like too, they get so used to that excitement
Mm-hmm.
of the beginning of the relationship that they don't realize that it's not like that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you're with someone who, eventually
I'm gonna get
hope
to know.
you're gonna get to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not gonna be spontaneity all the time. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be
There's gonna be a lack of nuance after a certain bit.
right,
Yeah.
right. There's not gonna be that mystery there
Mm-hmm.
like there was before of like, ooh, what's coming next or what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a rom com.
Yeah.
It's real life.
But I feel like that's where the expectations come in. Like if you're looking for a relationship for nuance and excitement, you're not and not like that can't be found within a healthy relationship. But in the manner in which she's asking, like a healthy relationship, she means in the sense of like a long term relationship. Like if you're looking for those things like nuance and excitement, you realistically won't find that in a long term relationship in the sense of, new things are
From
gonna
each other. You
right
could do it together.
together. But even from each other, it'll pop up once in a while, but like on an everyday type deal, that's just not realistic. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna get to know each other, you're gonna get to know each other's habits, you're gonna form a routine because after a while, I mean, more than likely you're living in the same house, you're coming home to cook meals together or having a person cook a meal and then hopefully enjoy that meal together. And then you're going on dates together. And unless you're traveling, and you're well off like that, where you're able to do multiple trips during the course of a year, you're not going to too many places together. So if that doesn't really check your box of a healthy relationship, then you're not really looking for a long-term relationship.
Just looking for fun.
Right. And that breaks it down to you're really just looking for flings, right? So now, can you have healthy flings? That's up to the individual and who you look for and how you go about it and how you carry yourself and what you want. But like, is a fling a relationship? No. It's like a situationship. So can you have healthy situationships? That depends on the person. Then again, like, are you with them long enough to get to know them? Because that seems like kind of what you want. Where I want nuance, or I want even at the end, like,
That's why I say like
uh huh,
you're just settling at that point
yeah, yeah,
because that person again checks off all the things and traits and um, stuff like that that contributes to
mm-hmm,
what is a healthy relationship
mm-hmm,
versus someone that you're compatible with. Like if you're compatible with somebody and you guys have been together for a long time,
mm-hmm,
then I, for example, won't have a problem telling you, like, you want to try something new,
yeah,
you want to go on a date,
yeah,
you want to go on a trip, you want to go on a, you know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? Like, let's try something, and there won't be that thing of like,
That
but
animosity,
I don't like that, or
yeah,
I don't want to do that, or
pushback,
that's not me. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
Like, if you won't get bored if you're with someone who's compatible with you
mm-hmm,
versus getting bored because you're with someone who just seems like the right person,
yeah,
which in a sense I don't think is fair to the other person either, because it's like you said, you're putting it on that other person and building that resentment towards that other person
mm-hmm,
because you're not satisfied with the choices that you make,
yeah.
or
You're
the
placing
person that you, yeah, you're placing it on that other person
for your own happiness.
for your own happiness.
Yeah,
Like, and everybody, whether you're in a relationship or not, is responsible for their own happiness.
absolutely, yeah.
Like, that's not something you should be putting on anybody else because you know you better than anybody else.
And like, does that define a healthy relationship if that's how you're going about it? Like, you're expecting so much from your partner, but what are you doing to be able to change that or to accommodate that?
Right.
Like, if you're unhappy and you're feeling like everything's starting to get monotonous, and I understand that, like, we've been together for a very long time, where you can look at something and be like, well, I don't feel like cooking this week, or I don't feel like we should be eating at home. Then it's unfair, in my opinion, to look at you and be like, you figure out what we're going to be doing without placing anything in motion
Mm-hmm.
to be able to fix that.
Yeah.
Like, where is that mentality coming from of
Yeah.
saying, like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm unsatisfied. What can you do to fix this?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any damn sense. You would think that after a bit, especially if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you would go and do something yourself to be able to change that. You wouldn't really just look at your partner and say, like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm unhappy. What can you do to fix this?
Mm-hmm.
How is that reasonable for your partner?
That's true.
Especially, like, how is that? How would you consider that a healthy
I feel
relationship?
like that built up
Resentment,
that, but like not just not like towards a person who's feeling that way,
but towards the relationship.
but I feel like that will, like, if you were saying that to me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like eventually I would have this anxiety of like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, am I not, you
Am I
know,
not enough? Yeah,
that too, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So I don't know that maybe if you're like 2 years in, because like 2 years, I feel like you're still getting to know each other.
It's a pretty fresh relationship,
But
yeah.
like, I don't think that that's something that would last in a long term relationship unless there's like,
Settling, like you said.
yeah, but like say if I'm like never home
Mm-hmm.
or you're never home,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe that would like keep the relationship
Like
or
fresh.
elongate the
Yeah.
relationship. But if you're together all the time
Mm-hmm.
and you talk all the time, then I feel like that's something that will come into light
Mm-hmm.
even before you get to that long term part of the relationship. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Like I don't think that that's something that um I don't think that's something that would make the relationship last period. Like those things would come into light before and get brought up
Mm-hmm.
before you could even reach that point of 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah,
You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I just think it's funny in the manner in which you phrase it. It's like, are healthy relationships boring? but you're not really quantifying, like, this is what I find as a healthy relationship.
Yeah, what do you define as a healthy relationship
Right,
versus what I define as a healthy relationship?
right. Because I'm looking at a healthy relationship for like peace, safety, in the sense where like I can be myself and you can be yourself and we can both express ourselves openly without fear of judgment, or like you said, without fear of anxiety
Mm-hmm.
of just being myself. Like, I find a lot of people will try to get with somebody with interests that they don't appreciate or don't enjoy or can't, relate to,
Right.
expecting them to change. Like, well, I'm going to get with somebody who I know well beforehand loves to play video games.
Yeah.
And then I'm with them for a certain time, and now I'm upset that all they do is like to play video games. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you knew that about the person before getting together. Same thing with like, oh, this person really enjoys anime. Most people that really enjoy anime aren't going to hide that. Like, you'll go to their house, they got posters. You go to their house, they got figurines. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're upset, be it like a few months, a year, 2 years, a
Because they
few
want to
years,
sign up for cosplay or something like that.
something like that. Or like the fact that, like, man, all they want to do is just watch anime all day. It's like, but you knew that before getting with this person. So again, like, is that healthy? Like, is it healthy that you got with this person with their own interest base, especially like older individuals? Like, if you're in your 20s and you're getting with people and you're not really willing to meet them where they are and build with them, but you're expecting a healthy relationship either by modifying who they are
Right.
or expecting a nuance from somebody who's like grown and set in their ways. Like, are you, one, a healthy person? And two, are you promoting a healthy relationship? Because that makes no sense. Like, I want a healthy relationship, but I'm upset about the lack of nuance. So, what are you looking for? Like, animosity?
Yeah.
Are you looking for arguments? Are you looking for discourse? Because that's literally what you're saying at the end. Look, I want discourse. Discourse is
That's what I'm saying.
the
Like
same thing as
you're,
arguing. Like, what are you
yeah.
looking for? Like, what do you mean discourse? Like, we have to disagree on everything?
That's another thing too. I feel that people are accustomed to the idea or with the correlation that healthy relationship means you don't argue,
Yeah,
or healthy relationships means that you agree about everything
everything.
all
Yeah,
the time.
which is insane.
Yeah, or healthy relationships mean that like like stuff like that,
Uh huh.
like which is unrealistic.
Yeah,
Those are just relationship myths. You know what I'm saying?
rom com
Like you guys
scenarios.
are. It's the fact that like okay, we disagree on something.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to talk about it,
Yeah.
or we don't feel the same way about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Then we were able to come to a point where, at least where if we're still not on the same page, we understand each other's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I feel like that
Healthy relationship comes into play.
that and also where the lack of knowledge and the understanding of the definition of what a healthy relationship is
Mm-hmm.
comes into play,
Yeah.
because they're so based on like, well, like I said, they're checking off these boxes on what a healthy relationship is, and that's all I ever needed and wanted. But it's not at the end of the day if you're saying that you're getting bored,
Mm-hmm.
you know. If they don't fight you back, maybe they're not that type of person,
Yeah.
or they feel like there's no
Real reward to that. Maybe they value their peace more than they do all the.
that, or just like there's no talking to you, you
Mm-hmm.
know. There's no like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I gonna argue with you if you're choosing not to understand me, or if you're choosing not to at least um
Meet me halfway,
meet me halfway?
or at least understand my perspective when
Yeah,
it
you
comes
know
to
what I'm
something
saying? I
different.
feel like that's why there wouldn't be any fight back
Yeah.
or argument.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of
You
course.
know what I'm saying? Other than that, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you how I feel, or what
Mm-hmm.
the heck is coming to mind when this happens that I don't like. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Or like you said, it's trauma too,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
people like, maybe you're like, you don't say something because you're afraid you're gonna hurt someone's feelings, or you don't say something because before it didn't get a good reaction
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But then again, that's something that's within yourself that you have to work with.
Fix.
You know.
Yeah, that statement seems like heavy, filled with trauma. In the sense where, well, I don't want things to get stale and boring, and there should be a lot of discourse. Again, her words, not mine. Like, this should have a lot of discourse. Right. Like, is that where you're coming from? Have you had a lot of relationships where, in your idea of a healthy relationship, is my relationship is filled with discourse?
Yeah.
And now you're moving on to somebody else. Like, have you taken time to heal from that? It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Or maybe you're just that used to keeping stuff to yourself. That you're just like, I like the way things are right now. Let me just leave it.
Or let me find something like that.
Yeah.
I like how it felt when I was in this, so let me go find something like this.
Yeah, but that's you again checking off boxes of what you think versus what you should know.
Yeah.
Or learn. Take that time to learn
Yeah.
what it means for you to be in a healthy relationship versus being like, well, this is what everybody else says is a healthy relationship. And it's just like bullshit.
And that's a good point. Like, what environment are you in? Like, what do you see within your friends? What do you see within your family? Because, like, not for nothing, not to shade any of the older generations, but like, people 2 generations prior to us definitely didn't set any like good expectation for healthy relationships. And like, just the divorce rates alone are going to reflect that. So, like, what is your foundation of what you assume or what you consider a healthy relationship? Is it people in your surrounding? Is it relationships that you've seen, people that you know? Like, do they have a healthy relationship? Because then again, like, people only show you so much. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Like, even the people in the healthiest relationships, as unfortunate as it is, like, look at Will Smith.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, la, 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 all
Look,
the time.
look at Will and Jada, right?
Yeah.
Together for decades. And now you still have this situation where your wife that you've been with for decades is now cheating on you with a much younger man. But we, looking at that from the outside perspective in, we're like, well, this is one of the most healthy relationships we've seen, and their goals.
Yeah.
But we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Right. So, like, is that your mentality and behind going, well, this is what I expect as a healthy relationship?
Yeah.
Is comparison.
Yeah. That's another thing too. I think a lot of people compare too much. I think there's way too much comparison going on. I think it's like you said, like they see people who are in the spotlight or the limelight.
Yeah.
And they be like, that's goals right there. Or y'all watch way too many rom-coms and we're like,
I want something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's not real.
They're paid actors.
Yeah.
They get given a script, and at the end of the day, that movie is an hour and a half long. 3 months of shooting. It's not like a 5-year relationship. It's not. It's not two actual real raw personalities meeting each other. It's not two real people meeting each other.
It's not even real.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a story that got drawn up. You know what I mean.
Yeah. And even for situations where it is real, like, well, again, back to what I just said, like, you don't really know. So it's kind of hard for you to place, like, yourself, right, and wanting a relationship on such a high pedestal when you don't really know what that's like. Like, you don't talk to those individuals. And why would you compare? Like, why would you, trying to get into what you consider a healthy relationship, then immediately utilize comparison of saying, well, this is what I think it should be like? You're kind of debasing everything while using comparison. And then secondly, why would you not make that first step, or why would you not put that first foot
you're
forward?
Feeling that way.
Right. Why would you then not take initiative?
That's valid.
And it goes back to what you said. Now you're, in a sense, with or without, consideration, giving your partner a sense of anxiety.
Yeah, because you're putting all that weight on them and stuff.
Right. Or you're making them feel less than because, well, this is what I want in a relationship and you're not giving me that. Realistically, that's what you're right. Realistically, that's what you're doing when you act like that. It's now, instead of uplifting the person that you're supposed to be with, that you want a healthy relationship with, now you're debasing it and saying, well, I don't feel satisfied. knowing damn well I'm not doing anything to change that or to fix that, but I don't feel satisfied, so I'm bored. Right.
That's valid.
Like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I really hope like that's not the standard mentality for a lot of individuals, thinking like, well, I'm bored because it's a long-term relationship, or I'm bored because it's
That's
a
what
healthy.
goes to cheating.
Right.
That's what leads to cheating.
That's heavily what leads to cheating, and on both parties.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not just like her. Like imagine having a partner like that, and they tell you and they move like that, and then like you're feeling less than, you're feeling unappreciated, and you're feeling like in a sense like resented on, knowing that like okay,
Oh yeah, I get what
I'm not
you're
I'm
saying.
not doing enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing enough, so why would I prolong this?
Well,
Or
somebody else will appreciate me.
exactly. Exactly.
I get what you're
Somebody
saying.
else is gonna well, she don't appreciate me, but I certainly
That's
do.
not. That's not a. What's it called? That doesn't give them the right to do it. But I
No,
get where.
but it definitely puts you in the mind state of like, well, if you don't appreciate me, I know somebody else is going to,
Yeah, I get it.
right? Like you tell me all this, but I know Becky in the office, sees my potential.
Yeah, that's.
But it's also
Uh,
something where like
that's messy.
it
I
is,
feel like that
and it leads to
idea.
that.
That idea is just again. It's just you settling,
Hmm.
or you saying this person checks off what I, in my mind, unknowledgeably considered to be a healthy relationship
Hmm.
versus what actually is a healthy relationship.
Because how fair is that? Like we live in an environment now, and more importantly, an economy now, where both people have to work a job, right? So I'm working full time to provide for the both of us, and you're working full time to provide for the both of us. On top of me working 40 plus hours, because God knows most people work well over 40, now you're on top of all the responsibility I have, which is all my bills, my mental and physical health, right? Maintaining our relationship and making sure I come home and I provide in some sense where it's either you clean and I cook,
Yeah,
I
that's a
clean and
heavy
you
weight
cook.
on your shoulders.
You're piling more on top of that, saying now you're in charge of my happiness
Mm-hmm.
because I'm feeling like whatever we have going on here isn't enough. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's really what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
Is whatever we have going on right now isn't enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a valid point. No, you heard it here on Better Together. What do you guys think about when people say healthy relationships
Relationships are
are
boring.
boring? Yeah, is that like,
Do you consider your healthy relationship boring? Do you consider yourself even a healthy relationship? What do you want for a healthy relationship?
or are you just settling?
Yeah. Write it down below. If you're listening, like it and share it. Tell us what you think.